everyone, welcome to this session. I'm Aram Yeretzian, Professor of Architecture at AUB. I'm joined by Mr. Majd, who is a sustainability expert and decarbonization specialist. We are here on campus today. It's a nice Mediterranean day in early March next to the Charles Hosler Sports Center. The building features numerous passive design strategies and methods which are integrated into the design and the construction of the building. We start with, if we were to describe a bit the organization of the project, it is built with several masses to allow for wind flow to pass through the building and between the outdoor spaces. Next, we can feature the elevations, which are thick, regionally sourced stone, mostly opaque towards the west and east orientations to reduce the sun load on the facades, and open towards the north, which in this case is the Mediterranean Sea, and the south, which is shaded as we can see here. The shading devices are appropriately designed and fabricated to align with the requirements of the orientations. Other features in this building include the photovoltaic panels on the roof, which generate electricity for the building, and the open joint tiling, which is used to recuperate and harness the rainwater, which is used for the plantations that we can see in front of the elevations and also on the roof. Now, Majd, to take a step back into this subject, right? We're looking at an example of a successful passive design building. If we were to discuss the overall more regional aspect, let's say in the MENA region regarding climate change and the adaptations that are appropriate to address the future challenges. Can you tell us a bit about this subject?
Thank you. Thank you first, Dr. Aram, for having me as part of this discussion. I'm very pleased to be part of this session. So in recent years, we've seen a lot of efforts globally, a rise of the global efforts towards net zero. More than 140 countries are committed to achieving net zero by 2050. In our region, the UAE is the first country in the Middle East to commit to net zero by 2050 with a strategy of emission reductions by 2030, 2040 and 2050. Saudi is also committed by 2060, Oman by 2050. So we've seen notable progress in many Middle Eastern countries with clear commitments, vision and strategies, as well as substantial investments in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and new technologies such as green hydrogen and carbon capture. What I would like to highlight is that during the last 3 years, 2 COPs have already happened in our region. COP27 in Egypt and COP28 in UAE. And COP28 came with a very important agreement, the UAE consensus. And this agreement is the first agreement within the COP's history to mention phasing out or transitioning away from fossil fuel.
Right.
So it's extremely important, and the role of our region isn't just limited to the decarbonization of our own countries, but also influencing the global policy on climate action. Especially that the region has 60% of the oil reserves as well as 45% of natural gas. So I think there are a lot of challenges in terms of decarbonization of the Middle Eastern countries as compared to any other country around the world. But we've seen a momentum. We've seen that countries are moving in the right direction towards a low carbon future.
Thank you, Majd. It's very interesting and inspiring to see that there are such initiatives and policies that are being put in place to address the future of climate change and the challenges that we will be facing. Let's walk towards this courtyard.
Sure.
So if we talk a bit more about the energy aspect within this global perspective, what can you tell us about the energy initiatives that are associated with climate change?
Yeah. Energy is at the center of climate action. Why? Because energy contributes to 75% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, according to the International Energy Agency. In our region, this number is even higher, up to 90% in many countries.
Right.
So Addressing energy is extremely important when we talk about climate change.
So if we dig a bit deeper into the subject, how is the energy different in the different sectors of which it pertains?
First of all, in order to transition to clean energy, you need to focus on different areas. One of them is energy efficiency, renewable energy, and green technologies.
Right.
So addressing energy efficiency is extremely important in the climate change, in climate action. Why? Because energy efficiency provides 40% of the carbon abatement by 2040. Energy efficiency technologies are technologically proven and economically feasible now. So energy efficiency technologies can provide direct, immediate cut of emissions. And the third reason is that when we focus on energy efficiency, we can reduce energy demand. So we don't need additional generation in terms of power generation. This reduces the need for new capex or initial investment for new generation.
Right.
The great thing about energy efficiency, you touched on it, that it covers different sectors. Building sector is one of them. So when we talk about importance of decarbonizing the building sector, it's not only switching to green energy sources, but also reducing the demand of the building sector. And in order to align with the net zero targets, we need to reduce our demand by 30 to 50%. And this is where energy efficiency plays a big role.
Excellent, excellent. So if we again take this discussion a bit more towards buildings, as you mentioned, and the importance, existing buildings contribute or constitute a large part of the building stock in cities, which in themselves are growing fast. So what are some measures or strategies or policies that make the relevance of retrofitting apparent?
Retrofitting of existing buildings is crucial in the fight for climate change. Why? Because retrofitting buildings themselves contribute to 40% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. And in our region, we've seen that there are several initiatives and policies aiming at retrofitting existing buildings. There are initiatives and programs in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Saudi, Oman. There is a creation of an ESCO model, energy services companies model, retrofitting programs, accreditation for companies and projects. Only in Dubai, there is more than 15,000 building equivalent are retrofitted. So addressing energy efficiency and retrofitting buildings is critical for climate change. But I would like to highlight one point here, that it is important to retrofit buildings, but to align with the net zero targets, we need to go beyond these minor retrofits. So when we talk about retrofits, we talk about changing lights, we talk about adding sensors, building management system, and this provides you with 10-15% of energy reduction. But in order to align with the net zero targets, you need to get into a higher number of savings, into 30%, 40%, or what we call deep retrofits. And it's extremely important to consider deep retrofits when we talk about decarbonization of the building sector.
Right. And this pertains possibly to the different systems in the building, whether the retrofitting of a structure or of a building envelope, or even of the systems within the building.
Yeah, definitely. So there are different measures that can be considered in a deep building retrofit, but definitely a focus on the building envelope is key. Because all of the other systems is great, but now with AI, with the use of simulation technologies, digital technologies, smart technologies, it helps into getting to a higher percentage of savings.
Thank you very much, Majd, for this very insightful discussion, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Aram. Thank you.